If you're looking to land on a specific Warlock subclass, but just aren't sure which one to pick, never fear, I'm here to play matchmaker. By the end of this video, you'll know what patron flavor is, strengths, and standout abilities of each of the subclasses are. And finally, of course, I'll be passing along a free gift just for you. I don't know how to introduce myself. Hi everyone, I'm Willow, and I really like warlocks. And warlocks are great. Oh no. Also, a quick note that this video was made possible thanks to support from my patrons. No ad read, just a bunch of thanks. Wow. So everybody in the comments say, thank you, patrons. You're so attractive. You're probably 12 feet tall. Warlocks are one of, if not the most popular class picks in D&D for a reason. They're powerful, they have a built-in backstory, and most importantly, they have customizability. I see you Pathfinder people starting to type your comments, and I get it, okay, I get it. But it gets to the point where it's a bit difficult to pick which subclass you want, mostly because there's a strong argument for each one. So I've laid it out in an easily digestible format. Let's see which patron will be calling on our Ouija board for you today. Archfey Patron. Bargain with a whimsical fae. We're starting out strong with the creatures that are known for their tricky deals, outside of devils of course, which we will get to later. The fae are a huge part of the D&D ecosystem, with their very own plane and creature class. If you pick this subclass, you'll have a ton of material to work with regarding who your patron could be, or different visuals you can borrow from within the Forgotten Realms. Basically, what fae are known for being overall, slippery. Guess what? If you take this patron, so will you be. Slippy. You'll be slippy. Watch out, Fox! Fox, don't run into that wall, you'll die! No! Archfey Patron grants you tons of movement. This is really useful in combat that's paced like D&D is. Opportunity attacks and 30 foot of movement per turn really turn? Turn like the bird? Editor, zoom in on that. Why did I write turn like the bird? Opportunity attacks and 30 feet of movement per turn really narrow the field, but if you're an Archfey Warlock, it opens up to a big, sparkly fairy princess field. And every time you bamf around, just like the Eladrin of the Feywild, you can affect the area around you. Your level 3 Steps of the Fae are the beginner moves of your sneaky fairy dance, allowing you to cast Misty Step without using a spell slot. Oh, how I love being able to do that. Equal to your charisma modifier, with the option to either heal yourself or a friend, or possibly cause your enemies to have disadvantage on attack rolls. This revs up almost immediately when you hit your level 6 feature, which gives you even more options, including invisibility or dealing damage, and lets you cast Misty Step as a reaction every time someone so much as gives you a paper cut. As a side note, this right here is a point of confusion for many tables at first read, so I'll show you how I rule it. Some folks think this means that you need to cast Misty Step using a spell slot every time. However, Steps of the Fae establishes that you don't need to do that as long as you have a Step of the Fae use left. Anyways, great subclass. Great choice. Celestial Patron. Call on the powers of the heavens. From the outside in, a celestial patron might not make a lot of sense. After all, celestials are the good guys, right? An angel giving a player a gun? What do you mean? A unicorn giving a player a Molotov cocktail? What? Who would do such a thing? Besides all the gods of the clerics and the paladins, I guess. What's great about the celestial patron is that it's a subversion of the creepiness of the warlock class, but it's also an examination of how the celestial planes are actually kind of intense. After all, a sphinx patron sounds terrifying, speaking in riddles from nearly infinite knowledge, and they're celestials. It's described in the player's handbook as drawing power from, quote, the realms of everlasting bliss, unquote, after all, and in a way it can be very warlocky. And what's more borrowing power flavored than temporary HP? I don't know why I said that like a sports announcer. Standing in this corner, our lightweight champion at usually 5 to 10 points, ready to blow away at a moment's notice, or a beautiful sunrise is temporary HP. You have basic healing with your level 3 feature, Healing Light, that heals outright, but you can really start rolling with your level 10 feature, Celestial Radiance. Basically, every time you use your magical cunning or finish a short rest, which as a warlock you will be doing a lot, you gain temp HP equal to your warlock level plus your charisma modifier. But you also get to dole it out to your party, half your warlock level plus your charisma modifier to be exact, making them forget to question why a Hierophant gave you a gallon of Advil in a blunderbuss. Pick this subclass if you enjoy playing a cleric. That's the only reason why I should play it. I'm totally kidding. There's a lot of reasons to pick this subclass. It is a great subclass. Fiend Patron. Make a deal with the lower planes. Some folks will gently caution against picking Warlock as your first class. For newer players, sometimes the class can feel a bit complex. But if you're dead set on trying out a Warlock, how about considering the Fiend Patron? Now, don't let the name fool you. In D&D, Fiend can be used as a catch-all for the denizens of the lower planes. This means that you can shake hands with a gross pustule-filled fiend or a scheming archdevil, whichever you want more. If you're familiar with my other videos, you already know what I'm gonna say here. Fiends are the bread and butter subclass of Warlocks. Features like Dark One's Blessing, gaining temp HP when the enemy is felled either by your own hand or fairly close to you, are not only useful when they trigger, but also gives a very immediate, flavorful reward. Features like Dark One's Own Luck is a classic feature written from the basis of borrowed power. That is the backbone of the Warlock class, calling upon whatever fiery fiend you've made a friendship bracelet with to fudge the dice in your favor. And oh gosh, your level 14 feature, Hurl Through Hell, oh my gosh, this is by far my favorite feature of the subclass, not just because of the name. I know level 14s are usually more interesting anyways, but the concept of slapping your enemy through hell, giving them psychic damage, traumatizing them so much that they are incapacitated until the end of your next turn. So pick this class if you want to get a feel for the classic, as the British say, full fat coke of Warlocks. Undead. Defy death for profane power. We got an update for the Undead Warlock in Ravenloft, The Horrors Within. Yippee! Now, I haven't gotten the new book yet, so make sure to double check my work here before making the choice if this is the right subclass for you. I sure would like that book. Seems nice. Seems like a nice cover for no reason whatsoever. Anyways, Undead Warlock has been a subclass that's another cult classic, if you can forgive the pun. The idea of borrowing power from a being that is defying death is very warlocky, and the different patrons you can bring in for that are really fun. A warlock that serves a lich, for example, or perhaps even an ancient near-godlike vampire. So let's cruise through some, not all, features really quick and see what we're working with here. Form of Dread is a tasty feature. For 1 minute, that's 10 rounds of combat for you new DMs out there, you, quote, manifest an aspect of your patron's power, unquote. Basically getting temp HP and the ability to deal out the frightened condition. And because you get this ability equal to your proficiency modifier per long rest, it doesn't feel like a super precious resource. Grave Touched is both a neat ribbon and a useful feature in addition to beefing up your Form of Dread. Finally, your final feature, you get to go ghost and Danny Phantom all over the battlefield, being able to project a flying spectral form and gaining delicious resistances and heals. And even though you can flavor this subclass visually however you want, I think the Undead Warlock is the best subclass if you want to be, well, a ghost. Even though I haven't seen this subclass, as far as the most recent updates go, in action yet, I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be pretty popular. The Fathomless. Glug glug glug, look at my slimy tentacles. Let's take a journey underwater to the Fathomless. Much like the water temples of every video game, the Fathomless are cool in theming but a bit frustrating in practice. So the problem here is that a lot of the Fathomless is spent on highly situational abilities, namely stuff with water. Gift of the Sea, for example. You can breathe underwater and swim 40 feet. If you're in a campaign that takes place on a boat or in an archipelago, I guess, then congrats, this is very useful. But keep in mind with features like this, even when they're in their situational best, they can also isolate you from the party, exploring ahead too much in the watery cave, for example. What I'm saying is, it gets an extra ding because highly situational features, in my opinion, should feel really strong. Your 6th level feature gives you resistance to cold damage, and you can understand anyone that decides to put their head underwater in the bathtub with you. Once again, situational. You can see the theming here. However, this is crazy. This is fun. And this makes the aforementioned highly situational, perhaps not so fun features totally excusable, in my opinion. As a bonus action, you get to summon a tentacle that damages and slows your enemies. Consider this a slightly modified spiritual weapon feature, like if you dipped your ethereal hammer in water and left it in the freezer. What's cool about this feature is that it keeps getting better. Guardian Coil mitigates damage for you and your party, and this also improves as you level up. This is crowd control, this is damage mitigation, and you have a range of 60 feet and can move them around. There's a lot of options here. This culminates in your Fathomless Purge. Fathomless Purge is a good get out of dodge feature, but it shouldn't be a level 14 feature. Maybe a spell or something tacked on to the level 14, I guess. Basically, I wish the level 14 feature had something to do with your cool tentacles, but alas, I am neither a wizard nor a coast. You can kind of see why some warlocks that want that deep sea horror feel lean more towards the Great Old One patrons, which we'll be talking about in a moment, even if they don't have any water flavor. Water flavor? Is that nothing flavor? Ocean flavor. Wet flavor. But don't let those other features get you down. Your tentacles are cool enough. Your tentacles are enough. Pick this class if you're cool with whipping tentacles around the battlefield and are okay with not using half your features for most of the campaign. Great Old One Patron. Unearth forbidden lore of ineffable beings. If you watched my old Warlock video way back when, you'll already know that I'm so incredibly biased towards these guys. I've played Gulocks, I've befriended Gulags. Oh no, I've not done that. I've played Gulocks, I've befriended Gulocks. I've gone into dubiously profitable timeshares with Gulocks. I can't say that. Everything about this subclass just works for me. However, as much as I hate to admit it, Great Old One Warlocks are, well, I can't say it out loud, just they're the S word. Situational. That's right, just like them fathomless, I know my baby flavor queen that she isn't as powerful as the Fiend Patron Warlock. You can almost feel how when writing this subclass, the designers envisioned a player in a campaign very similar to a lot of other Lovecraftian TTRPGs. It's more about observation, probing, communing with the unknown, versus going through and dealing out buckets of damage. I'd say for the Great Old Ones, while not being able to deal out religious amounts of DPS, have the best flavor features. Every single one aligns with you slowly gaining power from some unknowable elder god. However, unlike the Fathomless, these situational features such as Awakened Mind or Thought Shield are incredibly good social situational abilities. The Great Old One Warlock will have plenty of advantage in political campaigns, for example, or a murder mystery, or my personal favorite that no one ever wants to do with me, a detective campaign. You've been bound up and gagged in the basement by some shape-shifting dame, and the rest of your body's been knocked out by a pile of sentient cigarettes with a mean left hook. If only you could cast dissonant whispers to get her to run, but wait. Thanks to your level 3 feature, you don't need verbal or somatic components to cast a spell. You've got her cooked like a goose. Other things like buffed Hex at level 10 and Create Thrall at level 14, allowing you to summon an aberration without concentration, is a fun class while not being at the tippy top of DPS. So when looking at these guys, I want you to consider the campaign you're going to be in. Pick this class if you want to be just super cool, though. This is a super cool class. Even though sometimes it hits like a little baby covered in 50 blankets. Genie Patron. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Come and let me out. In my previous Warlock video, I asked for your recommendations for some genuinely creepy, scary genie movies, and there was a resounding answer, which was watch Wishmaster. And well, my dear viewers, I took your advice because I care and value your opinion. By the by. Where is that tasty little sister of yours today? If you harm Shannon, I'll kill you. Spare me, child. Behold my true face. Oh my god. Like and subscribe if you also value your own opinion. The Genie's Vessel is a really neat feature and is also the base of a lot of cheese builds in D&D. Like the classic spirit, you're able to inhabit a tiny object. A lamp, a ring, a Funko Pop, whatever you and your poor abiding DM desire. From just a glance, this might not seem very impressive, but the potential utility this has is crazy. Need to board a ship for passage, but not enough money for everybody in the party? Bam! You've got the ring on the barbarian's sweaty pinky, getting the free ride you deserve. I don't know why that felt so gross to say. Got a letter from an evil advisor implicating him in a terrible crime, but not sure where to hide it. Bam! Who's gonna look inside the magical toothbrush? Nobody. Need to sneak under the door and your rogue's out of commission? Slide yourself inside that magical penny and slide it underneath the crack and bam! Not a problem. This added on to some nice damage resistances, some flying, eventually being able to bring others inside of your magic toothbrush, all culminating in getting to cast any spell that's 6th level or below from any other class. This is just a fun time. But you must be creative with the Genie Warlock. Unlike your other more damagey Warlock classmates, this is a subclass that you have to be one step ahead of the in order to enjoy it to the fullest extent. This isn't going to feel great sometimes watching your party members deal out crazy stacking damage in combat, but being able to pull a bunch of them into the lamp and give them a short rest in just 10 minutes is so incredibly useful. And pulling cool tricks with your vessel ability is something that can form the classic party stories you'll be talking about for years to come. In short, this is a neat subclass if you think outside the box. Or in this case, the lamp. Get it? Oh man, like and subscribe. If you didn't like that, like and subscribe. Hexblade. Get a sword that glows and is spooky. You're a big, strong, spooky man. This is one of the more popular subclasses for the Warlock, mostly because of the multi-class capabilities. And that's fine. However, here at Willowwares Incorporated, we are purists. We play the game as intended, right out of the rulebook. In fact, before I play a game, I eat an entire Dungeon Master's Guide. just to make sure I'm legit from the inside out. In reality, hexblade warlocks are popular for multiclassing, of course, but they are also quite popular because of their flavoring. Hexblade warlocks are the magic sword subclass. You and the soul knife rogue can argue about it in the comments below. Imagine a cursed or perhaps almost spectral blade thrumming with unknowable power that could either be an extension of your patron or perhaps even your patron trapped inside. The story potential here is really cool. Your hexblade curse supports the fantasy that you and your weapon are hunting down specific prey, pointing your blade to the nearest target and cursing them, giving you bonus damage towards them and an improved critical. This is a great subclass for really whittling down an enemy. Now, hexblade uses your charisma modifier for the attack and damage rolls, which might not sound exciting, but it definitely feels great to play. This paired nicely with the old Pact of the Blade, pact that you could select from the base class. However, this was a change in the new rules that's thrown a bit of a wrench in this synergy. 2024 updates Pact of the Blade using the charisma modifier for attack and damage rolls all on its own, while previously this was one of the big boons of the hexblade subclass. This, paired with some other little changes, has put hexblade in a strange spot currently. I'm wary to comment on the most recent Unearthed Arcana version of it, but I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. And if you've adapted hexblade to the most recent rule set, what did you change? Either way, hexblade has some strong fantasy and is a strong choice if you like the classic fantasy hero feeling of holding your blade aloft with a little bit of a sinister twist. Now that we've gone over a bunch of the subclasses, let's see what free item I have cooked up for you. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy my spooky story. Closing statements regarding the disappearance of Octavia Law and her connection with the mass psychogenic illness of the village of Whispergate. This account and all related evidence is, as always, property of the College of Chronomancy. If you are below a clearance 4 in the college, please disconnect the chrono autograph immediately and find a clearance 7 or above. You may need to surrender up to 6 weeks' time, depending on the amount of exposure. I was pleased to be assigned to this case. As we all know, the Law family has long occupied a peculiar place in our archives. Tragic, certainly, but statistically improbable, which makes it interesting. The fact a member of the Law family was found at Whispergate, the village that forgot the stars, doesn't surprise me one bit. Octavia Law's calling was a warlock, as far as we know, but her occupation was a village doctor. According to our last interview, she was pursuing a new treatment that could restore vision. When I asked her what the treatment involved, she couldn't recall, but she assured me it would be clean. It seems the origin of this illness, the fear of starlight, can be traced back to these treatments. Engulf and wipe away clean. This phrase appeared independently across 37 interviews from the villagers. And then she went on to talk about,
do you remember there was something above our heads, something far away and old, and they used to tell us where to go, but they didn't stay still like that, above our heads.
This ring is all that is left of Octavia Law. Her next of kin, including Eunomia Law, one of our own chronomancers, have been informed. However, we will not be passing along the apparent final words of Miss Law, found with the ring. It has been a challenge to re-educate and introduce the citizens of Whispergate to the stars above. Some insist the constellations are not in the right place. Others constantly ask, where did it go? Which brings me to the aforementioned final words. Do not attempt to remember what used to hang above us. Thus ends the account. If you experience any sensations including extreme pressure behind your eyes, unquenchable thirst, or a sensation underneath your fingernails that could be described as something crawling, please isolate and send word to the nearest clearance 7 chronomancer immediately. And hey, we did it! Old Willowers fans. Yes, the ripe old age of over a year. Thanks for sticking around. You guys might recognize the return of the Annihilation Patron from our last Warlock vid from a long time back. I hope you enjoyed her return. And as a thank you for watching the video, I have a free item, a mysterious ring, thrumming with power and secrets. And for my wonderful patrons, I have a mystical tome just for you, to aid you on your journey to discern the indiscernible. See you guys soon. Goodbye. Bye.